Good to have you back as we continue today with a highlight from Hillsdale College's free online course, Constitution 101, How Identity Politics Destroys Equality. Americans have been divided into favorable and disfavorable groups depending on our color of skin, our sex, our sexual orientation, all of it. It's no longer about the content of our character, sadly. Here is today's lesson from Hillsdale College.
Today in America, there really is only one unforgivable sin, and that is to deviate from the accepted script when speaking of protected identity groups. It is to say something, whether intentionally or not, that either offends protected identity groups or that the elites find offensive on their behalf. What I think is important to grasp from the outset is that identity politics today is not just the dominant ideology when it comes to civil rights. It's the dominant ideology in America, period. If you look at prominent politicians, professors, producers, pundits, Fortune 500 CEOs, tech gurus, journalists, all of the famous, credentialed, and successful people who comprise our ruling class, they either all affirm the tenets of identity politics or at the very least are deferential to them. Americans are now divided into favored and disfavored groups, and civil rights law, we are told, should not apply to the favored groups. Identity politics is demanding that we judge people not by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin, their sex, and their sexual orientation. And it demands that we do so in perpetuity. It rejects the principle of what James Madison once called equal rights under equal laws. And it instead demands that we build a modern caste system that privileges some groups over others in our laws and culture. Identity politics is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Its primary focus, rather, is the much deeper question of, why is there evil in the world? And identity politics provides a clear and unambiguous answer. Because of straight white men. Identity politics takes and modifies the Christian teaching on sin. It now no longer applies to everyone, but only to the oppressor groups. But here's the more important modification. It offers no hope of salvation or of redemption from sin. Equal group outcomes are now the measure of equal opportunities between groups. And under this logic, all disparities can only have one explanation: discrimination. All disparities are blamed on discrimination, and anyone who suggests otherwise is immediately called a sexist and a racist in order to silence dissent and stymie inquiry. And here, of course, ultimately is the great paradox of this focus on group results. It requires discrimination in order, it says, to eliminate discrimination. If you focus on results, this will inevitably lead you to deny positions to some people on the basis of their skin color, their race, their ethnicity, their sex, their sexual orientation, you name it. The main reason that identity politics exerts such a powerful pull in America is because it suggests that we can either embrace identity politics or remain callously indifferent to the well-being of fellow Americans who happen not to look like us. This, in truth, is a false choice. Identity politics should be rejected not because it demands justice for those who have been unjustly treated, but because it poses a threat to Republican self-government by corroding patriotic ties and demanding special treatment rather than equality under the law.
There you have it. You can find out more at gruberforhillsdale.com, gruberforhillsdale.com. You can go there now to sign up. It's free, by the way. These courses, including this one, on the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, Aristotle, Socrates, all sorts of philosophers. You can find out all sorts of information. It is terrific. And it brings me to one of the stories we were talking about here just a bit ago with Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat running for governor in the state of Virginia. The reason being is he was confronted on critical race theory. He was confronted on critical race theory, and he couldn't answer the question of what is it? He has been the governor before. He's challenged now. He supports critical race theory teaching, but says it doesn't happen in Virginia, which is bizarre. I want you to hear this. It's bite number 4. It plays into exactly what we just heard from our friends at Hillsdale. It's bite number 4 from Terry McAuliffe. You have to see him dodge this question because he doesn't even know how to define it. Here it is.
I answer this question very clearly. It's not taught in Virginia, and it's never been taught in Virginia. And as I've said this a lot, it's a dog whistle. It's racial, it's division, and it's used by Glenn Youngkin and others. This is the same thing with Trump and the border wall to divide people. We should not be dividing people in school.
So how do you define it?
Anita, it is not taught here in Virginia.
But how do you define it?
Doesn't matter. It's not taught here in Virginia, so I'm not going to spend my time.
Your thoughts on what it is.
I'm not even spending my time because the school board and everyone else has come out and said it's not taught. It's racist. It's a dog whistle.
But if we don't have a definition, how can we say it's racist? I just want a definition from you.
It's not taught here in Virginia. We can ask about any topic.
He has no idea what he's talking about, and that's the problem with many on the progressive left. They have no definition for what's going on. They're oblivious to it. They deny it's happening, but can't say what it is. Disappointing, to say the least. That's why the country's divided in so many ways. Again, you could learn more at Hillsdale. GruberForHillsdale.com. It's free. GruberForHillsdale.com. Sign up for these great classes. Share them with your kids, your grandkids, and watch them yourself. Ivy and I watch these all the time. We learn so much. GruberForHillsdale.com. Please do that. Check it out. Greatly appreciate it. We'll take a quick break and be right back.